Did you know that some of the towns in Scotland, known for their beauty and rich history, are actually hiding dark secrets? In 2025, certain areas have seen crime rates soar to shocking levels, higher than you might ever expect. Imagine a place where violent crimes are on the rise, burglaries are happening almost daily, and drug-related offenses have become all too common. Surprised? You should be. In this video, we're revealing the 10 towns in Scotland with the highest crime rates right now. And trust us, some of these names might surprise you. From bustling cities to quieter, more rural areas, crime is creeping up where you least expect it. But why? What's causing this surge? Is it the economy, drugs, or something else entirely? Stay tuned as we dive deep into the facts and uncover the reasons behind this alarming trend. You won't believe some of the towns on this list. Number 10, Motherwell. Motherwell, once a booming industrial town in central Scotland, has unfortunately made its way onto the list of towns with the highest crime rates in 2025. Known for its steelworks and close proximity to Glasgow, Motherwell's history is steeped in industrial growth, but today it faces a different challenge: an escalating crime problem. In recent years, Motherwell has seen a disturbing rise in violent crimes, including assaults and domestic violence incidents. These crimes have left many residents feeling unsafe in what was once considered a relatively quiet town. The local police reports show an alarming increase in street violence, often fueled by alcohol and drug abuse. Domestic disturbances, too, have surged, with authorities struggling to contain the rise in family-related violence. But what's driving this surge in crime? Much like many other towns facing economic downturns, Motherwell has been struggling with job losses, particularly since the decline of its traditional industries. High unemployment rates and a lack of new opportunities for young people have contributed to rising frustration and a sense of hopelessness among the community. This economic strain has led to a growing number of individuals turning to crime as a way to cope with their circumstances. Moreover, gang activity has also been linked to some of the violent crime in Motherwell, as rival groups vie for control over territory, often resulting in public altercations and increased criminal activity. The town's proximity to larger cities like Glasgow may also be contributing to the spread of drug-related offences, as dealers and addicts flock to smaller towns, seeking less scrutiny from authorities. Residents are calling for more support from local authorities, particularly in terms of job creation, youth engagement, and community programs. But as crime continues to rise, the question remains: can Motherwell overcome its challenges and reclaim its sense of safety and peace? The coming years will determine its path forward. Number 9, Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock, once a thriving town known for its textile and engineering industries, has found itself grappling with rising crime rates in 2025. Despite its rich industrial heritage and efforts to revitalize the town, Kilmarnock is facing a surge in crime that has taken many residents by surprise. One of the most concerning trends is the rise in antisocial behavior. Reports of public disturbances, vandalism, and drunken violence have been on the rise, especially in the town centre and local parks. These incidents, although often not violent in nature, have significantly impacted the town's atmosphere, leaving many people feeling unsafe in public spaces. But it's not just petty crime that's on the rise. Violent crime, including assaults and robberies, has also increased in certain areas. Why is Kilmarnock experiencing this crime surge? Like many other towns in Scotland, economic decline is playing a major role. Once the heart of Scotland's textile industry, Kilmarnock has struggled to transition to new industries in recent decades. The decline of manufacturing jobs, combined with limited employment opportunities for young people, has created a breeding ground for frustration and crime. Moreover, issues such as drug misuse and alcohol dependency have contributed to the rise in public disturbances and violent incidents. The availability of illicit substances is increasing, especially in underprivileged areas, leading to greater social unrest. Despite these challenges, there are community initiatives in Kilmarnock aimed at tackling crime, such as youth engagement programs and local policing efforts. However, many locals believe that more needs to be done to address the root causes of crime, particularly unemployment and substance abuse. Do you live in Kilmarnock? Have you noticed the rise in crime or any changes in your community? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates on crime trends across Scotland. Number 8. Perth. Perth might be known as the gateway to the Highlands, a charming town with a rich history and scenic beauty, but recently it's been facing a darker side that many wouldn't expect. Though it still boasts the picturesque streets and medieval buildings that make it a popular tourist destination, the rise in crime is beginning to tarnish its reputation. What makes Perth's situation particularly troubling isn't just the increase in crime, but the type of crimes that are on the rise. Drug-related offences have surged, with heroin and cocaine becoming more prevalent in the area. These drugs are often tied to other criminal activities, including thefts, burglaries, and violent encounters. As the supply and demand for illicit substances grow, so do the tensions, and it's impacting both residents and businesses in the area. But drug problems aren't the only challenge Perth faces. In recent years, gang-related activity has also begun to make its mark. The smaller size of the town, once thought to be a benefit, now makes it easier for such groups to operate under the radar. This creates an atmosphere of fear and unease, where residents feel like crime is lurking just around the corner. For a town that has historically prided itself on its safety and community, this shift has been jarring. Perth's traditionally low crime rate is becoming a distant memory, and with it, the sense of security that the people once felt. Some locals attribute the rise in crime to economic difficulties, with fewer job opportunities and higher living costs contributing to frustration. Others point to the growing issue of homelessness, with many people turning to crime as a way to survive. Perth's crime surge is a sobering reminder that even the most idyllic towns are vulnerable. And as the community struggles to find solutions, the question remains, can Perth ever return to its peaceful, crime-free past? Number 7. Falkirk. Falkirk, a town known for its historical significance and central location in Scotland, has found itself grappling with rising crime rates that have raised concerns among its residents. While Falkirk may not have the same size or recognition as cities like Glasgow or Edinburgh, its recent surge in crime is something that can't be ignored. In particular, Falkirk has experienced a significant rise in property crimes, including burglaries and car thefts. This may be partly due to the town's increasing economic struggles. As more people face financial difficulties, especially in the wake of the decline in traditional industries, crime becomes an unfortunate outlet for those feeling trapped in dire situations. The pressure of unemployment and a lack of opportunities has contributed to a shift in the local crime landscape, leading to a noticeable uptick in property-related offences. But it's not just property crime that's on the rise. Falkirk has also seen an increase in antisocial behaviour, particularly in the form of public disturbances, vandalism, and substance abuse. Areas that were once considered safe have now become hotspots for such activities, and it's making locals wary of going out after dark. The town, which prides itself on its close-knit community, is beginning to feel the strain as residents no longer feel as secure in their own neighbourhoods. One of the driving factors behind this rise in crime could be the growing availability of drugs in the area. Local authorities have reported an increase in drug-related offences, with some areas of Falkirk seeing higher rates of addiction and substance misuse. With drug use often linked to both property and violent crimes, this issue is undoubtedly fueling the problem. Falkirk's crime surge serves as a stark reminder of how economic hardship and social factors can shape the security of even small towns. The community is now looking for solutions, but the road ahead may be long. Number 6. Stirling. Stirling, often celebrated as one of Scotland's most beautiful and historic cities, is now facing a troubling rise in crime that has caught the attention of both locals and authorities alike. Known for its castle, which has stood as a symbol of Scotland's independence, Stirling's increasing crime rates are a stark contrast to its peaceful, picturesque reputation. One of the most concerning trends in Stirling is the rise in youth-related crime. Recent reports have highlighted an uptick in antisocial behaviour, with younger individuals increasingly involved in vandalism, public disturbances, and even violent confrontations. This has raised alarms as Stirling has historically been seen as a relatively safe town for families and students alike. The sight of groups of young people gathering in public spaces, sometimes engaging in disruptive activities, has become more common, leading to a shift in the town's atmosphere. While youth crime is significant, it's not the only problem Stirling faces. Drug offences have also seen a rise, with substances like cannabis and alcohol being linked to many of the incidents. Some reports suggest that certain neighbourhoods are becoming hotspots for drug misuse, which then spirals into property crimes and violence as individuals resort to criminal acts to fund their addictions. The prevalence of these illegal substances has led to a sense of unease among locals, who once felt that Stirling's relatively small population and quaint charm kept the worst of criminal behaviour at bay. The town's universities and colleges, while central to its economy and culture, may also play a role in the rise of crime. A large student population can sometimes lead to higher rates of antisocial behaviour, particularly during university events or parties. Despite the rising crime, Stirling's local authorities are working hard to curb these issues with community engagement programs and increased policing. But the question remains, how will Stirling reclaim its reputation as a peaceful town amidst this growing crime wave? Number 5. Inverness. Inverness, often referred to as the capital of the Highlands, is known for its stunning natural beauty and historical landmarks, including the famous Loch Ness. It's a town that many associate with tranquility, attracting tourists from all over the world. However, despite its serene appearance, Inverness is facing a significant rise in crime, particularly in the form of antisocial behaviour and youth-related offences. Recent reports from local authorities show that while Inverness has traditionally been a relatively safe place to live, its crime rates have begun to climb in recent years. One of the most noticeable increases has been in incidents involving underage drinking, vandalism, and public disturbances. These crimes are often associated with groups of young people who, with fewer opportunities for employment or recreation, are becoming more involved in illegal activities. The challenge is compounded by the town's rural nature, where there can be a lack of recreational outlets, leaving young people with fewer options for positive engagement. While youth crime is concerning, another troubling trend is the rise of substance abuse, particularly alcohol and drugs. Inverness has seen an increase in the availability of illegal substances, and with this comes the unfortunate rise in drug-related offences, property crimes, and violent incidents. The town's small size and relative isolation make it an attractive location for drug dealers, further fueling the problem. In addition to these issues, Inverness is also experiencing an increase in domestic violence cases, often exacerbated by alcohol misuse. These crimes not only impact individuals, but ripple through the wider community, causing a sense of insecurity among residents. Inverness is undoubtedly a town with many challenges ahead. The question is whether it can strike a balance between maintaining its peaceful, rural charm and addressing the rising crime that's starting to cast a shadow over its idyllic image. Number 4. Aberdeen. Aberdeen, often called the oil capital of Europe, has long been a bustling hub of industry and wealth, driven by its thriving oil sector. However, in recent years, the city has seen a worrying rise in crime, with an increasing number of reports related to violent offences, substance abuse, and property crimes. One of the most noticeable trends in Aberdeen is the rise in drug-related crimes. The availability of illicit substances has surged in recent years, with heroin, cocaine, and cannabis becoming more prevalent in local neighbourhoods. The increase in drug use often leads to a domino effect, sparking other crimes such as thefts, burglaries, and even violent confrontations. Aberdeen, with its large urban sprawl and diverse communities, has become a hotspot for drug dealers and users, further contributing to the city's growing crime rates. Another concerning issue in Aberdeen is the rise in antisocial behaviour, particularly in certain districts of the city. Public disturbances, vandalism, and alcohol-related crimes have become more frequent, particularly among younger residents. With the city's population often comprised of both long-time residents and transient workers in the oil industry, there's a sense of social disconnection that may contribute to the surge in criminal activity. The decline of the oil industry in recent years has also had a major impact on Aberdeen's economy. As jobs in the oil sector become scarcer, unemployment rates have risen, particularly among younger people. Economic instability often breeds frustration, and unfortunately, crime becomes an outlet for many. With fewer job opportunities, the city has witnessed a troubling increase in petty thefts and violent crimes, particularly in economically disadvantaged areas. Aberdeen, with all its wealth and history, now finds itself grappling with these social and economic challenges. Can the city address the underlying causes of its crime wave, or will these issues continue to shape its future? The next few years will be pivotal in determining Aberdeen's path forward. Number 3. Dundee. Dundee, once renowned for its role in Scotland's industrial revolution and its vibrant cultural scene, is facing a troubling surge in crime that's caught the attention of both locals and law enforcement. Despite its rich history, particularly in textiles and shipbuilding, the city is now grappling with issues that have led to one of the highest crime rates in Scotland. One of the most striking trends in Dundee is the rise in drug-related offences. The city has seen an alarming increase in the availability and use of illegal substances, particularly heroin and cocaine. These drugs are often at the heart of many of the city's crimes, from petty thefts to more serious violent offences. As the drug problem grows, so do the related crimes, creating a vicious cycle that's becoming harder to break. But it's not just the drug trade that's a concern. Dundee is also experiencing an uptick in violent crime. Assaults, street fights, and robberies have become increasingly common in certain areas of the city, especially during the late-night hours. Public places that were once safe now feel more threatening, particularly for residents living in neighborhoods that are already struggling with poverty and a lack of economic opportunity. Much of the city's crime wave can be attributed to its economic struggles. Once a thriving industrial hub, Dundee has faced significant job losses in recent years, especially as industries like shipbuilding and manufacturing have declined. This has led to higher unemployment rates, particularly among younger residents, who are more likely to turn to crime out of frustration or a lack of prospects. The economic downturn has created a perfect storm for rising crime, with social issues like poverty and addiction exacerbating the situation. Despite efforts from local authorities to combat the crime wave, Dundee's challenges remain formidable. As the city works to rebuild its economy and address the root causes of its crime issues, the question remains: can Dundee reclaim its status as a safe and prosperous city, or is it headed in the wrong direction? Number 2. Edinburgh. Edinburgh, the enchanting capital of Scotland, a city steeped in history and known for its stunning architecture, festivals, and cultural landmarks, is now facing a concerning rise in crime rates. Despite its global reputation as a tourist haven and intellectual centre, Edinburgh is struggling with increasing levels of crime that are leaving residents and visitors on edge. One of the most alarming trends in Edinburgh is the rise in violent crime. While it may not be as rampant as in larger urban centres, there's been a noticeable uptick in assaults, robberies, and street violence. Areas around the city centre, particularly where the nightlife thrives, have become hotspots for violent altercations. What's more troubling is that many of these incidents are happening during the busy festival seasons, when large crowds create a perfect environment for criminals to target vulnerable individuals. Whether it's fights in the streets or muggings near tourist attractions, the violent crime rate has become a growing concern for both locals and tourists alike. In addition to violent crime, Edinburgh has also been battling an increase in drug-related offences. The city has seen an expansion of drug markets, with substances such as heroin, cocaine, and cannabis being widely available. Drug addiction and misuse often correlate with increased property crime, as individuals seek ways to feed their habits. Areas known for higher crime rates have seen a rise in burglaries, thefts, and other property-related offences. Edinburgh's status as a global tourist destination also seems to contribute to its rising crime. With a constant influx of visitors, opportunistic criminals, such as pickpockets and scammers, target unsuspecting tourists. The challenge for local law enforcement is heightened by the sheer volume of people during peak seasons. Despite these rising crime rates, Edinburgh is still a city with a lot to offer. However, the increase in crime is a reminder that even the most charming and popular cities can face growing social issues. The city must now work harder to address the root causes of crime to protect its residents and maintain its reputation as a safe destination. Number 1. Glasgow. Glasgow, Scotland's largest city, has unfortunately earned its place at the top of the list of towns with the highest crime rates in 2025. Known for its vibrant arts scene, rich cultural history and energetic nightlife, Glasgow is a city that attracts millions of visitors each year. However, beneath its lively surface lies a growing concern, an alarming increase in crime that has deeply affected both residents and tourists alike. Violent crime is one of the most troubling issues Glasgow is facing. Assaults, robberies, and street violence have all seen a significant rise, particularly in certain districts. Areas that were once seen as relatively safe are now marked by reports of violent confrontations, especially during the late-night hours. The city's nightlife, while a key part of its identity, has unfortunately contributed to the uptick in violent crime, with alcohol often playing a central role in these incidents. Young people in particular have been identified as a key demographic involved in these offences, which is concerning for a city that prides itself on its cultural and social vibrancy. Another major contributor to Glasgow's high crime rates is the pervasive issue of drug misuse. The city has become a hotspot for drug-related offences, including trafficking, possession, and crimes committed under the influence of drugs. Heroin, cocaine, and cannabis are the most commonly abused substances, and the city has seen an increase in drug-related violence as dealers and users clash over territory and resources. The devastating impact of addiction is felt not only by the individuals involved, but also by their families and communities, as property crimes such as burglaries and thefts rise in tandem with drug misuse. Despite the challenges, Glasgow is not without hope. The city's law enforcement agencies, alongside community organisations, are actively working to curb the rising crime rates with initiatives aimed at rehabilitation, youth engagement, and drug recovery programs. But the road to reclaiming Glasgow's safety is a long one, and the battle to address the root causes of crime is ongoing. As Glasgow continues to grapple with its crime crisis, the question remains: how much longer will this vibrant city be overshadowed by its growing criminal issues? Only time will tell. As we've seen, crime is a complex issue, affecting even the most iconic towns and cities in Scotland. But we want to hear from you. Have you noticed the rise in crime where you live? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, check out our previous one for more eye-opening content. We put a lot of effort into bringing you these stories, so please support us by subscribing to the channel. It's just one click, and it helps us keep delivering quality content for you.